Union and representatives of regional economic communities, and ladies and gentlemen. We've done quite a lot of work today, worked very hard and extensively for a good number of 7 hours. Now, as we bring the 14th session of this extraordinary summit on silencing the guns to an end, allow me to thank you all for your participation. I felt your presence here in Johannesburg, even though you are in various parts of our beautiful continent. The contributions at this summit have served to reaffirm the commitment of the current leadership of our continent to the moral and political duty given to us by our forebears, who had the foresight and the vision to form our organization with a view of achieving an Africa free of conflict. This summit has been able to answer some critical questions on the actions we must now take to advance this responsibility. The AU Master Roadmap on practical steps to silence the guns clearly outlines the outcomes we seek to achieve as a continent. It is therefore appropriate that we reiterate our commitment to extend the Master Roadmap for the next 10 years, while we also continue to declare September of each year as Africa Amnesty Month. We have welcomed the appreciation and adopted the report of the chairperson of the AU Commission. We will use its recommendations as the foundation of our mission to silence the guns. It is of great concern to all of us that incidents of conflict are intensifying and spreading to a number of regions on the continent. Conflict, political instability, and insecurity continue to be major threats to the realization of the Africa that we want. The proliferation of small arms and light weapons and illicit financial flows are among the factors contributing to both traditional and non-traditional threats to states and human security on our continent. As conflicts escalate, they leave behind a sad trail of displacement and humanitarian crisis. Violent conflict invites undesirable and opportunistic intervention from outside our continent. This undermines the sovereignty of African states and serves to advance the interests of others at the expense of the people of our continent. Inspired by the vision of Agenda 2063, we need to redouble our efforts and act in unity of purpose and determination to overcome the root causes of conflict on our continent. Countries of the continent need to work together as a collective, as we are to make any meaningful progress towards the creation of the Africa we want. Our deliberations today underscored the need to capacitate our institutions. In particular, we need to improve the implementation as well as the coordination of the African peace and security architecture and the African governance architecture for quick and adequate responses to conflict and instability. To build lasting peace, we need to create inclusive, multi-sectoral programs that address the economic, social, and environmental causes of conflict, along with their racial, ethnic, gender, and spatial dimensions. This is why we must, among other things, work to address the emerging threat of food insecurity on the continent, which has been worsened by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Most importantly, we have underscored the nexus between peace, human security, and development. We have highlighted the tragic paradox of a rich Africa inhabited by poor Africans. Africa has the youngest population in the world, but our young people are held back by violence and conflict. They are also held back by poverty and lack of opportunities in the use of their incredible talents and ingenuity. Unless we harness their potential, they may become increasingly susceptible to recruitment into armed conflict and terrorism. The women on our continent are also held back by violence and conflict. We need to advance regional and global efforts to transform the conditions that women and girls on our continent experience in conflict as central to the agenda of silencing the guns. Protecting women's right to safety in conflict and non-conflict situation is fundamental to wider sustainable human development in areas afflicted by conflict. The coming into effect of the African Continental Free Trade Area in January 2021 is both an opportunity and also a compelling reason to silence the guns. Greater intra-African trade and industrialization will contribute to peace, just as peace will contribute to greater economic development. In conclusion, I wish to call upon all of you to support through implementation in your respective countries the decisions and the declaration that have just been adopted by this summit to ensure that we fulfill our objective of silencing the guns in our beautiful continent. Accordingly, we have heard what we need to do to eliminate conflicts on the continent. We have seen what we need to do, and this is now the time to translate our words into action. I believe that working in unity and with collective determination, I have no doubt that we will end all conflict on our continent, and the African cause shall indeed triumph. I wish to express our gratitude to the chairperson of the commission, all the commissioners, and the secretariat for organizing this summit. But we also wish to thank our ministers and our representatives who continue to represent all of our countries on the continent in the various structures of our union. We also thank the interpreters and the technical support team for the job well done. Once again, thank you for all your contributions and your commitment to work practically to build the Africa that we want. This 14th session of the Extraordinary Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the African Union on silencing the guns is now at an end. And I now hand over to the protocol officer as I thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Nous vous remercions, Excellence. Place maintenant à l'hymne de l'Union africaine.
Thank you.
Merci, merci, c'est la fin. Permettez-moi de vous adresser mes vœux les meilleurs pour le nouvel an. Que Dieu, le Dieu Tout-Puissant nous garde et nous maintienne en santé jusqu'au mois de janvier-février.